Hey everybody, it's Minius, and I spend a lot of time going over information for the next Mass Effect, and one thing I've noticed is that Andromeda looks a whole lot like Dragon Age Inquisition. And I mean a whole lot like Dragon Age Inquisition. We can start with the way Andromeda appears to do its open world elements, with explorable areas containing settlements, ruins, minerals, resources, and points of interest. You can go out to areas where you set up drop zones to create forward operating bases when you go out to explore. There are enemy strongholds in these worlds that you need to clear out. There are scattered world super bosses that you might need to level up a bit to come back to.
We are going to need bigger guns.
There is crafting, crafting, where you acquire blueprints and then use the resources you collect to build yourself all kinds of stuff. The big Reddit leak talks about a mechanic that was virtually identical to the War Table missions, where you send out people to do things who come back later with rewards based upon the success of their mission. Now, Dragon Age and Mass Effect have always had a ton in common, being, of course, BioWare games. But there's no denying here that many of the things that I've just mentioned have never been a part of the Mass Effect series, and were definitely a part of Dragon Age Inquisition. So I've got to ask, is Mass Effect Andromeda too much like Dragon Age Inquisition? I'll assume here that this question garners a different reaction in each of you. Some of you will be thrilled, others far less so. People have a lot of different opinions on the most recent Dragon Age that really range all over the place. I can't speak for everybody, so I'll start off just talking about my own thoughts on Inquisition, which can be summarized in this one sentence: I liked it, but I didn't love it. And there's really just one big reason that I feel that way. It's the combat. I did not enjoy going around and taking on enemies. Many people compare Dragon Age Inquisition to a single-player MMORPG, and I kind of get what they mean. You hold down a button to auto-attack an enemy, and then hit other buttons occasionally when cooldowns are up until that enemy goes down, and then move on to the next enemy and do it again. Sure, you can switch up characters to make things more complicated, but at the game's core, this is what you're doing. In order to move the story forward or level up, you need to do this a lot. I have a tough time putting dozens of hours into a game where I'm just not enjoying a basic part of RPG progression. And although people may not specifically cite combat when they talk about things they don't really like about the most recent Dragon Age, I think that it's at the core of many people's complaints. There are things to do in Dragon Age Inquisition, it's just not necessarily that much fun to go around and do them. And this is where Mass Effect Andromeda has the chance to be a whole lot different. Andromeda's combat was inspired by the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer combat, and what we've seen so far looks a whole lot like the next level of that system. And this is obviously an opinion here, but that combat was awesome. There's no way people can put hundreds of hours into something with no story, no characters, no exploration, just fighting NPCs, and not really enjoy that combat system. So adding basically an improved version of that combat into the Dragon Age Inquisition formula has the possibility to change everything. You're taking a combat system that's already worth hundreds of hours and adding story, adding characters, adding exploration, adding deeper RPG systems, and that now becomes damn intriguing.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
I actually like the overall concept of Dragon Age Inquisition quite a bit, except for that one aspect. So I'll ask you to picture replaying Inquisition, except now taking on enemies is a whole lot of fun, because just that alone makes going around and clearing the map far more interesting. You'd actually want to head way over there and clear out that group of enemies, because doing so is a lot of fun. It's actually worth going through enemies to pick up collectibles because going through those enemies is a lot of fun. Now, obviously, I'm jumping the gun here a little bit. We don't actually know if the combat is fun. I'm just guessing off of Mass Effect 3 multiplayers and the crazy amount of movement that was shown in the recent trailer. And I'll say it again, add excellent combat to the Dragon Age Inquisition formula, and that changes everything. I really don't think that can be overstated enough. And just this aspect has me really looking forward to seeing what's in Mass Effect Andromeda. So, back to the question, is Mass Effect Andromeda too much like Dragon Age Inquisition? There's no denying the similarities, but the potential difference in gameplay cannot be overstated. It's actually a little bit bizarre that combat in video games has become, I'll call it, undervalued. Basically, Gameplay is what games are about. Add a completely different combat system into the same framework, and sure, the games will be similar, but drastically different at the core. So I think the answer is an easy no. These two games won't be too similar. Obviously, to rightly answer this question, we'll have to actually get our hands on the game, but I'm not worried about the similarities at all. But what do you guys think? Do Mass Effect Andromeda and Dragon Age Inquisition appear too similar to you? Did you like the combat in Inquisition, or simply not care? Let me know in the comments section below. And if you liked this video, please give it a like. It really helps out the channel. Keep an eye on MiniusGC for more Mass Effect videos. But for now...
I should go.
You know where I'll be.